of like, yeah, how do you get through like tough times like that, right? Like not just physically, but like emotionally, how do you get back into the ring? It's almost like if you, just based on a sparring session, right?
So to touch on that subject, there were so many times in my journey that like my nose was jacked, right? And coach was like, oh, you're sparring today. I'm like, it's tender, you know?
Yeah.
But you're gonna listen to your coach. If he says, hey, get in there, you're gonna get in there.
Do you think that that's the right thing to do though?
Well, here's what it did for me.
Yep.
It made me so much more aware of not getting hit in that nose because it was so tender that, hey, guess what? Today, I'm actually moving my head.
Yeah, right, right.
Guess what? Today, I'm actually catching those shots. I'm not just, okay, let's see what you got. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's it. Pop, pop, pop.
Walk forward,
It's forcing me to use my defense. So in a way, at first, I was like, this kind of sucks. The old school way, right? No, you're going to get in there anyway. We sparred 6 days a week. For 4 years,
a week.
we sparred 6 days a week. I calculated getting hit in the head 100,000 times.
Jesus,
I mean, that's
dude.
a lot of hits. Right?
That hurts me right now thinking about that.
That's a lot of hits, right?
It's giving me a headache.
Black eyes, bruised ribs, sore neck, sore jaw. Man, it was bad, but kept going.
Yep.
Kept going. So there's a lot of mental battles I encountered, one of them being the nose, right? The other one was being the jaw. Sometimes your eye was black. It took a couple of days to heal up. It was still tender, but hey, get back in there. Again, it made me work on my defense. I had zero defense when I started. Okay, so now fast forward to 15 years later, let's say 10, I'm experiencing the same thing in my students that I went through. So I'll give you an example. The other day we had a kid that kind of just stood there and he ate a big right hand right on the nose. First time he got a bloody nose, busted his nose, he's bleeding.
Was it broken?
No.
Okay.
No, it was okay. It wasn't that bad. It was just the weather's dry. You know, it's a little easier, more prone to bleed.
Put a Band-Aid on it. Okay, got it.
So he's bleeding, and so the coaches at the time, they said, hey, that's good, let's stop it. So they stopped him, pulled him out. They're holding his nose, making sure it's good. And I look over and I say, hey, you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm good, ready to go. And right there, that told me a lot about his mind game. He wasn't like, oh, coach, I'm bleeding. I've never seen blood. Like, it told me right there that this kid is not scared of blood. He's not scared of getting hurt, and he's ready to get back in there. Doesn't mean, all right, get back in there, you're okay, right? But right there, I took note of that, and I said, okay, this kid's got the mental toughness that it takes. There's other examples so that's a good example, right? Another example would be a kid that's gushing blood and he's looking over you in the ring like, stop this, stop this, please. I'm bleeding all over, and he's got blood all over his gloves, all over his shirt. And you're like, okay, time, right? You pull him back to the corner and he comes back to the corner and he's like, he's giving into the panic of just ketchup.
Yeah, the psychological
blood,
kind
right?
of,
He's never seen himself bleed, he's freaking out. And so coach's job is to cool him down. Hey, it's just ketchup, You ever bled before? No, never. Okay, well, I've had 1,000 bloody noses. You're not gonna die, right? You're reassuring him, you're calming him down, you're talking in a tone that's gonna cool him down. Wipe the blood, you're like, see, you already stopped bleeding, right? You'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's not bad, I've seen worse.
Right.
At least your nose isn't crooked.
Yeah, sure, could always be worse, yeah.
So those are two different examples, right? You got one guy who's like, I'm ready to go. That's kind of how it was. Or you got a guy that's freaking out and he might quit that day. He literally might go, this isn't for me, I'm done, right? But you need to reassure him that this is part of the process. This is gonna happen. You have to go through that wall of busting your nose. I probably had my nose broken twice. There was times where I was gushing blood all over my arms, all over my opponent. I'm just gushing blood. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But see, blood, man, I'm good.
That was your mental state just growing up though. Like you said, everyone's different, everyone grows up different, right? You seem to come from that old school, let's not complain. And like you said, we can learn from every situation. And I love it because I think I've said this before in other podcasts, but then reframing is everything, right? You could look at it two ways. You could be like, man, this sucks. Or you could be like, well, I could get better from this. And
to touch on that subject, so when I was a kid, you got your metal bed frame, you're a kid, you're running in a bed, what happens? Bing! that pain of just running your shin into the bed, right? I'm sure some of you can relate. So you're running into bed, you're like excited, whatever, boom, and you're just like, that pain, you know? At a young age, that happened to me like 100 times, and I just couldn't figure it out. Like, slow down before you get in the bed, you know, take your time. All right, there we go, avoid that. So what did I do is, that was like the first thing that I remember as a kid that started with me training my mind. I imagine a light switch, right? Turn the light on, pain. Turn the light off, pain's gone. So as soon as that happened, boom, what did I do with my mind? Ignore it, it's gone, turn it off, boom. It's hurting, but I'm giving zero attention to it, right? And now, all right, let's keep doing what I was doing. Boom, 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 boom. After a while, the pain goes away. It always goes away. You're not gonna sit there in pain the rest of your life. The pain is temporary. So at a young age, I figured that out, and that's what helped me when I became a fighter, right? And I thought back, like, how the heck did I build this mind of like, boom, most people, that hurt, boom, cool, my turn, bop, bop, bop.
Yeah.
Light switch, instant. So I talk about that a lot to my students, you know? They fall, they scratch their knee, some of my kids' classes, they're bleeding. That's gonna go away. It's gonna hurt forever. Have you ever fallen before? Yeah, I have this scar right here. Does it still hurt? No. That's gonna happen the same with that leg. It's gonna go away.
Right.
That's just a reminder. Don't run so fast.
Sure. Right. Lessons learned. Yeah, that's a great sense of awareness, and to be that young, right? Like what you just said. A lot of kids like me back then, I didn't think of that, right? Like it's just, it took a while to get off of that, like, oh, this hurts kind of thing. It's like over time experience, right? It's kind of like being sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's kind of like you get hit in the face too many times. Well, you're gonna eventually put that hand up. It's like because you don't want to get hit. Some people just take longer than others to kind of realize that, right?
Some people never make the adjustment, you know? Some people are pretty stubborn, and you tell them over and over, hey, you gotta keep that right hand up. And they've eaten 1,000 left hooks and they still don't get that right hand up.
Yeah.
So that's when you say, hey, maybe this isn't for you. You know, you got to be honest with your fighters too. If they can't make the adjustments, if they're not coachable, if they can't do what's necessary to protect themselves, you got to protect them for you. And that's when you see some of the coaches throw in the towel, right?
Yes.
And you're like, what? Why'd you stop the fight? The fighter's never going to stop the fight. The ref and the doctor will definitely stop the fight. But sometimes as a coach, you know what camp looked like. You know what type of punishment he took. And if you go into that fight knowing that, you're thinking, okay, if he takes this, I know where this is going to go, and it's not good. So you know where it's going, step in, that's it. I'm not saying, hey, throw in the towel all the time, but there's certain scenarios where you build these relationships with your fighters and you know them really well, and you care for their well-being and their health, right? And so sometimes you got to do that tough decision of, hey, you know what, that's it.
Yeah, throw in the towel.
For the record, I've never done that, but
yeah. That must be a really hard decision as a coach, because like emotionally you're invested is pretty much what you're saying, right? You work with these fighters all the time, you get to know them, and then some of them, it's almost like a lot of them look up to you as a father figure. I mean, that's going really deep, you know, into childhood. And I mean, luckily, like you just said, you never had to throw in the towel, because I'm sure that you built these fighters up for like the mental game. That seems to be like your main objective to them, right?
I mean, I'll give you an example. Last night, I have a new fighter who just came down from up north. And I've only seen him spar once, but last night I wanted to test him, see where he's at. And he wasn't feeling too good. He came up with his mind not where it needed to be. I'm tired, I don't feel too good, I gotta go do this in a little bit. Those were all cues that he mentally wasn't really going into this the right way. And I knew I set him up with somebody who's really good. But I wanted to see where he's at. So he still went in there, did his thing. But after the first round, he came back, I'm pretty tired, you know, showing signs of
he was saying that after,
I'm tired, I don't feel my legs are pretty gone. I said, okay, that's fine, let's just keep seeing what you got. And it really got bad. We're to the point where he circled by and he said something, I didn't hear what he said. And he kept going, and then he was moving, and just taking way too much punishment. So there was probably about 45 seconds left in the round. In sparring, I said, hey, that's it. Came back. He was really disappointed that I had to stop it. But that wasn't the point. I knew he was going into this in a tough state, right? And I just wanted to see where he was. Can he fight his way out of this? And he did at times, right? He was taking a lot of punishment. He came back. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. He was trying. He was trying to show me that he has what it takes. His conditioning is not where it needs to be yet, but it will be. And so I said, hey, everything's a lesson again. So after that sparring match, he was super disappointed. I said, I want you to remember this. And I want you to remember that guy. Because when I train you the way that you need to be trained, we're going to get revenge. We're going to see this guy again. We're going to get him. And what was his state of mind? Yes, coach, we're going to do that. Definitely.
Right.
You know, and that's what I want to see. So these are all building blocks in this journey of boxing. There's so many routes that you can go, but a good coach can identify these things and go, okay, this is where this kid needs help. This is where this kid needs help. And it all comes down to what you mentioned earlier, the mind. How mentally tough are you? How mentally prepared are you?
Yeah.
This is, everybody always says it, this is your number one opponent.
Yeah.
Right? That example I just gave, he was already psyching himself out. He was diminishing what his potential was going to be. Whereas this guy over here probably came in, I'm at a different gym, I'm going to show that I got what I got, I know these guys are pretty good here. He was ready, right? The second example, I took him out and I put another guy in. He had a bad stomach ache, right? But he showed out. He did great. He did real good, even though he was not fully there. But again, hey, I didn't do that good, yada, yada. When I feel better, I'm going to get him again. But that's the mind that I want. I want the mind that says, hey, I'm going to get him. My journey, I told you, I got beat up for 4 years. I created a list of everybody that put a beating on me, right? And what did I do? As I got better, maybe a year, 2 years later, I went back to see those guys. And guess what happened? I got my revenge. That guy's done. Next guy. That guy's done. Next guy, that guy's done. I got everybody on that list. There's just one guy left. And I just happened to run into him.
Got that chip on your shoulder a little bit.
I got one guy left. I just happened to run into him. So I said, hey, why don't you come by sometime? So,
which at times is a great motivator. Right? Like it's fuel. Right. What's going on, guys? If you're enjoying this podcast, please don't forget to like the videos and subscribe to the channel. Only if you're getting value out of it on YouTube and also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a rating and follow. And also, I also write a blog newsletter from what I learned from my incredible guests that I have on. So sign up for the email list and get updates on the podcast.